Hello, everybody.
Hello, can you hear us?
Sorry for being a bit late again, but our Polish webinars are pretty popular again. Around 50 people joined us for the Polish webinar, and we had so many questions. I guess we have to give a little bit more time for those webinars to not be late for a second one. I hope you can forgive it. You can forgive us, and we can start the presentation. There is 21 people already. So for the beginning, let me introduce some rules of our webinars. So first of all, on the right down on the right, you have a chat. Please write to us. Please say hi. Please welcome other members of this webinar, so we can communicate. If you want to send any questions, if you want to communicate with us while we are doing the webinar, this is the way, using the chat. Hi Vicky, good morning to you. Thanks for joining. Exactly, this is how you should use the chat. So hi David. So if your audio or video does not work, we are plugged in to the wire. Our internet should be pretty stable, pretty good. So please check out your outlets, your internet connection. Maybe you have to turn off some other media downloads, and that would help. I hope so. But we checked our connection, it should be okay. If it's not, let us know. Write a comment that your voice or video is not working. We will try to work it out for you. Hi Lars, hi Elrikur, John and Alan. Very welcome to our webinar. We're very happy to have you over. So if we play some video or some materials, you can switch off or switch on this video voice, so it's on, you control it. What is very important, this video will be recorded, this webinar will be recorded and available on our YouTube channel. So afterwards you can go to our YouTube channel and look through our uploads there and use it for all your own use. So you can send it as a link to your partner, to your client. If you have clients within packaging industry and you find out our webinar interesting, go ahead, use it. It's uploaded only for you, so don't worry about that. And we ask you to follow our LinkedIn. On our LinkedIn, we usually post informations about next webinars. So we upload a webinar every 2 weeks. So in next 2 weeks, we will come back to you with another webinar, always on Thursdays, right?
Thursdays. Yes.
Always on Thursdays, 11 a.m. Central European time. So you are welcome. Hi Gestenus and Sigridur and other members. Sorry, there's one name I cannot pronounce. Sorry for that. So we have a special prizes today because we will show you Jarpak case study where we used 𝐻𝐿VAR components. And so today our partner of the webinar is 𝐻𝐿VAR company. There is a lot of gadgets from them. You can win t-shirt like that or a mug. We have a lot of nice gadgets for you. So we really want you to be active during this webinar. Post your comments, and at the end I will invite the most active members to send us your information on email, and we will send you those gadgets straight to you. No matter if you live in Czech Republic or Iceland, don't worry, we will do it. We will send the package of gadgets to you. And we have we have to make this webinar within 1 hour time, so we have to finish it before 12 a.m. Let's start. So we will start with the challenges of the packaging industry. I will ask Patrick, what are the key challenges? Then we will go with the overview of the expert. We have talked with an expert from cellulose and paper industry, and they did a lot of projects for DS Smith and Mondi, one of the biggest companies from this industry. And we talked with Mr. Paweł before our webinar, and we have some points that he says is important to follow. So Patrick will go over those indicators that Mr. Paweł said are important, and we'll cover them. Then we will talk about the audit based on Jarpak case study. Then we'll talk about lighting design based on the case study of Jarpak again. And then we'll talk a few words about choosing the right products for packaging industry. So, Patrick, what are the challenges of packaging industry? What is so special about it? Why did we choose this industry for this webinar?
The main points of concern for us for this area is the elasticity of the production itself. So you have a production that can vary significantly, not only by the product, but also by the design, machinery, placement, requirements, etc. With demanding operating conditions such as high temperature, high humidity. You have to provide good rendition of colors to do the control of the stock that comes to the company that makes the packaging. And of course, after you produced the packaging, you also have to focus on getting the quality control, visual quality control. So you have to have lighting with good color rendering index for that. Of course, flexibility in terms that the production is changing very much and it's very complex. So this also poses challenges for the audit part and the lighting project part that we will discuss further in this presentation.
All right. What I would also like to add within the challenges of packaging industry is that this industry, this branch is really dynamic. I mean, if you go to the store, from Lidl, Kaufland to Aldi, or Tesco, you will find out that, let's say, Coca-Cola has a different package and different sizes of the package for each of the stores. It means that even if you supply packaging for such a big company as Coca-Cola, Pepsi, or other companies from this industry, it means that you have to really adjust. And to make a good promotion, you have to change also the packaging. So you have to supply the different packaging from month to month, from different campaign to different campaign. You don't win with the price per liter or per 1 kilo or per pound. You win per a specific package. Is it 1.5 liter, 1.75, 1.8, 2 liter package? This is where you get the price per promotion return. So it's really important to understand that this packaging industry is going through a lot of pressure from the clients. It's changing dramatically fast, and it requires, within the eco-friendly trends, it requires new sourcing materials. It requires more eco-friendly materials. So this industry is going under really huge pressure, and we are there to understand it, to help and to provide technical knowledge, so it only helps and lets those companies operate a bit better. That's why we chose this branch, this industry, because we find it really interesting. So we invited Mr. Paweł Szczepański. He's head of electrical and automatic laboratory in design office of POIRI Poland, part of 𝐴FRI corporation, a big corporation, over 6,000 engineers across Europe and worldwide. And Mr. Paweł has a specific knowledge from companies such as DS Smith, Mondi, and other huge cellulose, paper, cardboard, packaging and materials companies. So it was very interesting for us to speak with Mr. Paweł and get his sights about what is important in this specific industry. Paweł told us, but Patrick, yes, please tell us, we have few indicators that Paweł mentioned to us that we should look into it. If you could tell us why those indicators are important, because they look kind of typical for any industry if we look at lighting. Yes. Why is it important here?
I will group this pretty quickly. So rated power, luminous flux, and luminous efficacy. This is the group of parameters which is important because we, as a manufacturer, are providing our customers with the data on the net values. So rated power, luminous flux, everything after optical, thermal, electrical losses. Luminous efficacy, it's not for the LED modules itself, it's for the total package, so the total luminary. That is one important factor for the customers, because some other companies can give you mixed data or the data only for the module, etc. So that's one thing. And again, you have to have a good amount of light, so a specific value of luminous flux for the project, for the product. And if you can get it at the best possible luminous efficacy, you then have the best possible return on investment and savings on energy. So that's one part. More important in this particular area are color rendering index. So basically, the way that the colors are reproduced by the lighting system. As we spoke, it's important to have a good color reproduction if you have quality control. So general lighting will always be at CRI of minimum 80 as a standard product for us. Quality control, quality control of the raw materials that are ingested by the production facility and the end product that is put to the customer. This requires higher CRI. So we can also provide you with CRI of minimum 90 with that. Another one, like color temperature, it's related to that. We are offering a standard value of 4,000 Kelvin. We can offer you a 5,000 Kelvin, or if you request, we can offer you, for example, specifically a 4,500 Kelvin, if you would choose to.
And for packaging industry, from cans to plastics to paper, cardboard, what would be the preferable light temperature? Like, how does it change? How is it specific?
For general purposes, 4,000 Kelvin is good. If you have quality control, you tend to use colder temperatures, so closer to 5,000, 5,500 Kelvin, 5,700 Kelvin with higher CRI, because this resembles more closely a natural light that can be found outside. So
sunlight, for example.
Yes, exactly. So that's the goal for this kind of lighting, but this is a very specific area. So task lighting or small area lighting where you have to perform the quality control and not in general. So it's a small percentage of the larger population of luminaries in the project, and most of them 4,000 Kelvin CRI 80 for most of the purposes. Protection class IP. So minimum IP for that kind of industry, IP54. Our product ranges from IP65 to IP66. We don't make lower IP rated products for the industry because we found out that the IP65 is the most universal and robust version that can be used almost everywhere. So not only in this industry, but also in others industries. Plus, this provides you good protection from dust, which can occur in this kind of production, and moisture, which is a part that is always present, especially if you have a paper production facility. That's always combined with high temperature, high humidity, water vapor, etc. And the final parameter, which is the most important one, we would say, is the ambient temperature. So again, a lot of these facilities have a highly controlled environment, so stable humidity, stable temperature, but you also have machines. And these machines produce a lot of temperature, a lot of warm air, very humid air, oftentimes. So for that, it's not hard to imagine a temperature that will, depending on the production, exceed 50, 60 degrees of ambient above the machine. For example, if you produce plastic packaging, you use injection molding machines. These produce a lot of heat again. So you have to have products that will allow you to operate in the higher ambient temperature range. So above 50 degrees, above 60, up to plus 70 degrees of Celsius in the ambient.
Great. So these were some of the indicators mentioned by Mr. Paweł, who has over 2 decades of experience in working in industry, in engineering, in also lighting design. And these are the things that he indicated we have to consider. But what are some additional indicators or things we have to consider for this specific industry, and why?
Yeah, these are the requirements that we chose to be important for the customers. So elimination of strobe effect, that's combined with the machinery. So you have something that is related, is called a current ripple, which is present in almost every LED driver there is. To a varying degree, the most affected ones are the sequential drivers, which are often used in luminaries that are working in higher temperature ranges because of their simplicity, lack of heat-sensitive components. Some manufacturers use these, but they are suffering from very bad flickering, which causes a strobing effect, which can be dangerous, especially around rotating machines, moving parts in the machines, because strobing effect can make them appear moving slower than they are in reality or standing still, which can lead to accidents. And the very high strobing effect also with the range of 50 to 100 Hertz produces a very bad experience for the people that work around this light. It can induce headaches, vision acuity problems, etc. if you spend too much time under this kind of light, especially during the night shifts where you have no external light to compensate for the background. That's not good. So you have to then use drivers with as low current ripple as possible. We nominally use between 2% to 8-10%, depending on the type of the driver, which is with DALI or not, which provides you with very low amount of flicker, which is not visible and is undetectable, for example, by a simple test where you take your smartphone, open the camera, and just point it at the light source you can choose. So you can detect the devices that are using either the sequential drivers or drivers with ripple currents above 20-15%. You will see that as pulsating light in the image on the camera.
So doing an audit within packaging industry, it's enough to take your mobile phone, turn on video, and just if there are right now some luminaires with ripple current above 15-20.
Yes, for example, old LED luminaries from the beginning, or cheap luminaries that, for example, a customer bought cheap products from overseas, he's not for example, happy with that
Mhm.
and wants to change for something, you can then check it. You can then easily test it, or you can just compare products between competition. This method. But
So-
that's one part. The second one is UGR,
Mhm.
so glare indication values. That's important for two reasons. Of course, you have to fulfill the norm, which says what are the limits on the UGR values in the specific areas of the production, storage, quality control. And the most important factor in glare is the visual comfort of people that work there. And this has the highest importance in the quality control, where the UGR, if it will be too high, it will cause errors in the control of the quality of the product. So you have to combine low UGR with correct color temperature, so 5000 Kelvin, for example, with CRI of minimum 90. And then you can get the best results and minimize the amount of errors or problems with finding a faulty product.
And sufficient amount of light, because
Yes, of course.
if you do the quality checks with 300 lumens against like 1000 lumens, 1000 will help you.
We have one question from
to increase
John.
to increase the efficiency of the quality control process. Yeah, we have a question from John. Which brand of drivers do you use? Good question at this point. So which brands do you use?
We mainly use as one is obvious.
It happens.
It's 𝐻𝐿VAR. Yes, that's one of them. The second one is Osram and Tridonic. So we are using products from these three brands mostly because they offer a complete solution for us. So we use 𝐻𝐿VAR as a primary supplier because we have a very good elasticity with their products, which can fill up our entire product portfolio for industry with just a few drivers from them because of their elasticity, good quality, good price, good lifetimes, good performance in general. And then for more specific demands like the Pro version or HPT version or extended warranty products, we use Osram with their industry grade drivers that they introduced to the market 2 years ago. And sometimes Tridonic, depending on the application.
As a backup.
Sometimes as a backup, sometimes as a solution where the customer requests us to do a very non-specific type of luminary. So let's say low lumen output from a big luminary with a lot of LED modules, then we have to shift to Tridonic to provide the best possible solution for the customers.
All right, so let's jump into first quiz. You have a first quiz on your screens. Please jump to your screen and you please choose one of the answers and scroll down and push the button. So the question is, which element do you think is the most important for the lighting packaging, for the packaging industry in lighting? This is how it should be stated. So which of the indicators you find the most important for packaging industry concerning lighting? You have luminous efficacy, so the ROI, how fast you have the return on investment, color rendering index for quality control, resistance to high temperatures, if you consider machinery, some kind of a processing of those materials, including the heat processing. So you get a lot of temperatures and you need to have a product's resistance to that, glare index for the comfort of work, or elimination of strobe effects, and especially in those parts of the production facility where you have moving parts, rotating parts. So you want to eliminate any accidents. We have so far 8 people answered. Go ahead. Yeah, we will cover this. What would be the key indicator for this industry from our point of view? Thanks, John, for those questions. We love to have you over at the webinars. We are very active and very happy to have you here. Okay, almost half of you already answered. Please jump into your screen, scroll down, choose one of the answers and push the button for voting, and very shortly we'll have answers for this question. So how do you find which indicator, which element is the most important for packaging industry concerning lighting? 12 answers, 13 answers, go ahead. And we have new questions from David. Does an average human being feel the difference between 80 and 90?
Subjectively, it's very hard to tell from a general perspective. Only if you use, for example, two light sources next to each other and compare it, for example, with a colored products, photograph of products or a packaging, something that will show a broad range of colors, you can then see the difference, especially in the red part of the spectrum. But just like that, if you would sit under CRI 90 and CRI 80, it would be very hard for you to see this.
But it would be, if you cover 10 points of CRI from like 30 to 40, that would be a big difference.
Yes, the simple jump from 70 to 80 or from 60 to 70. If you had energy saving light bulb, this CFL, compact fluorescent light, the ones that are bad quality or cheap ones, you could sometimes see on object that is orange to appear yellow. For example, a lemon and the orange would see as the same color under this light because of the lack of red in the spectrum.
So in the lower range of CRI,
it's very
10
visible.
points is huge. In a higher range of CRI, the 10 points is not that visible. Is there anywhere you can find your UGR index for your product? You get it on the design. You have to do the design to get it.
Or you can just download our LDT files. And for the products, if you have a program that allows you to open the LDT files,
you will get the readings.
Yeah, you can open the UGR table and you will see. But again, we are recommending doing the project because one example, we have Ultima with 60-degree beam angle, which states that the UGR values are between 20 to 23 points in the UGR table. But when we introduced that into the project and we plotted the UGR value in the high rack storage area, we get the UGR between 18 to 20 points from the same luminary. So it's highly dependent on the project, but you can judge the rough values from the UGR tables.
So we get the answers, and I hope you can see already the answers. And the color in the rendering index won, let's say, because it got 4 votes, and luminous efficacy, resistance to high temperatures, and glare index got 3 votes. And the least was the least 2 votes for elimination of strobe effect. We have a comment from you. They are all important. Yeah, kind of. So depending again on the specific client needs, you will choose a little bit of different indexes or in different approach. So if you have a really dense machinery park, with a lot of moving parts, then the strobe effect would be crucial, because the most important thing is the human life. So if you can take care of and lower the chances of any accidents, that would be your major point. But if the production is pretty simple, then the color in the rendering index for quality control would be, I agree, the most important, because you want to give the value to your clients. So you would take care of not only how you process it, but what the client gets. You really will take care of the quality of your products that you produce, of the packages you produce. That would be, I guess, the key indicator. Luminous efficacy,
it's always important.
It's always important because it's money, it's energy saving, it's saving the CO2 emissions, so it's always very important for everybody. And the resistance to high temperatures, again, if you have machinery, if you have
production that produces a lot of heat,
then this is important. Let's go back to the presentation. So few words about our experience with Jarpak. This is a local company. It's not international corporation like Mr. Paweł covered, DS Smith, Mondi, Schumacher, or other giants in cellulose, paper, cardboard industries. But Jarpak is a good example, I think, within packaging industry, because this is a company that has pretty complex facilities. So how we did the audit, this is based on our experience exactly. Lucas, and he's from Wrocław, and Lucas did this audit in 2 runs. I mean, he first went to the client and did first audit. He got the measurements, the heights, how many luminaires, what are the wattages, he got all the basic information for making lighting calculation, making lighting design, and making energy saving calculation for the client. But after the first audit, Lucas has prepared a basic initial offer and initial information for the client. He went back to the client, he talked with them about those basic offering from ours, and then we started going into details. And this is why we did the second full audit with our lighting designer and with our electrical installer. So Lucas went again to the facility and did the second audit with a specific purpose, with really being concentrated on the design, the lighting design, and the control system. So Patrick, if you could say a few words, if you go for the audit and you want to do good design in the packaging industry, and you want to do really good control system for packaging industry, what would you consider?
Just like Zygidor just summarized this very nicely, very neatly, that in terms of audit, yes, exactly. Each client production facility will have specific conditions that you have to check. And then based on that, you have to determine what are the most important factors for the customer. So oftentimes an audit can make or break a project for you, actually. If you make audit the right way, and you will get the customer's request, requirements, and the conditions on the facility right, you have enough data, you will then do the good project probably at once, and you will save your time, you will save clients' time, and you can close the deal faster. If you do the audit less precisely, or you will not find the correct requirements of the customer, you will end up making lighting project more times, more than once, more than twice, sometimes even a couple of times, until you will find the specific values that are good for this customer and good for you, which can then prolong the closure of the sale of the product of the project. So for us, it's important to get as much data as you can. If you consider lighting control system, a very important one is how many zones does the customer want. So if you have a production zone, you have a communication zone, you have a storage zone, you have other types of zones. So you have to know the number of zones, mounting height of luminaries in that zones, and then you will have to probably adjust your lighting control system, so add sensors for every zone instead of one sensor for a whole building, and divide it on 3 zones or 4 zones. So mounting heights, number of zones, number of luminaries, requirements for these zones from the customer. These are the important factors.
And we have nice comments from Lard. Lard, thanks for joining us and for taking care of the Benelux market. And Lard said that it's always important to go on site and get really specific data. So we are very happy to work with you, Lard and Sigridur, because we have the same opinion. And we are very happy that you work with us on the Norwegian and Benelux markets. Very happy for that. Yes, indeed, going into audits, getting the data, the measurements, the heights, the lengths, all the data, drawing where the machines are, differentiating which are the zones to cover, what are the differences between zones. This is pretty universal approach to all industries, and of course it finds its way also in the packaging industry. So this is how Jarpak production halls and warehousing facilities look like. So you have 8 halls, all of them really different sizes and different areas of purpose. Is it easy to design so versatile objects, facilities like that? How do you think?
Again, depends on the facility. If, for example, everything would be built on the same mounting height with a simple layout, you would just put the same type of lamp with the same placement to achieve the desired result. In this one, you can see that different objects, a typical situation where you have different densities of luminaries. You have different zones, but from this point of view, you see only that the placement of the lights. But if we go deeper, for example, for one of the objects, you now see that you have, for example, different zones. So the bigger zone here is the production zone. 2 smaller ones are the communication zones. So then again, you have to probably consider different mounting height if the situation on the object is like that, or you have to consider different type of product, different power levels, different lumen packages, and then you have to add on top of that control system. So for every zone, you have to use a sensor that will, for example, measure the amount of light. You have to position it correctly so it would not get interfered with the directly reflected light from the outside. And as you point out in the comments, these are the typical projects. But again, in this type of areas, you can have a lot of smaller zones with different requirements inside the building itself. So it's just like one bigger project on a smaller facility. So you have more different applications, different situations.
And there are 2 approaches. First of all, you can really try to be very specific, as on this picture here. So you have one area with 3 or one side with 3 areas, but again, you have to also consider to be very flexible, because this hall could be changed from manufacturing to warehousing very fast. This is a packaging industry is moving really fast, so to squeeze out the highest returns on investments, it's good to be very specific and go into details and divide into as many areas as you can. But to be flexible, to stay flexible, within a specific industry, you have to sometimes over design. So you have to put a little bit of more lighting so you can switch the purposes of each area. So sometimes it can be communication, sometimes it can be warehousing, and the other time it can be used for production. So this is pretty tricky, and we count on you, and this is our job to talk with the client and find the really good angle and find the right solution. So on one hand, you are very flexible. On the other hand, you look for as many savings as you can do.
And that can be exactly almost an answer to your question, John. So you ask, did you also make calculations with equipment in place? Again, you can ask your customer what is the purpose of this one, but as Maciej said, if the application of the facility can change so much, sometimes it's better to just add a little bit more light into it and omit equipment inside, because if you commit your design to one setup of the machinery, you will get the project perfectly for that setup. But when the setup will change because the production facility will be repurposed, suddenly you can find yourself that you are no longer fulfilling the requirements of the new change setup. So that's why it's better to go a little bit more with the number of lights, a little bit more with amount of light itself, and keep in mind that, okay, this place might be changing, so we want to have some more versatile application in this.
And this is as I said, you are looking for a sweet spot between being flexible and between the best returns on the investment. So you have to actually talk with your client and get this sweet spot agreed with your client. Our role as partners, as experts, is to suggest the best solution based on client's needs. And in this part, in this case study as Jarpak, we actually suggested going more flexible because we saw how often they change many things, instead of going more into details with each machinery and each packaging side and so on. And so we jump into new. Wait a second. We wanted to jump into new question. No. Okay, we will skip it. So this is how Jarpak looks after our work. This is how we adjusted the lighting, adjusted to the outdoor light, the natural light, and to the specific needs. As you see, it's hanged basically very close to the ceiling, so you can stack up really high, and at the same time, the heights of those facilities were from 4 meters to 7 meters, and from 4 to 6 meters we used industrial LED, 3 types of industrial LED, and then for the highest ceilings, for above 7 meters, we used Ultima.
Okay, we have some comment that some of you got stuck on the picture after the survey. Can you see a new slide with products for the packaging industry?
I hope so. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay. Good. So everything works now. Okay. So to close the subject, we will talk about the products themselves. So our portfolio, our proposition. We can go with the first product. So as Maciej already said, Jarpak was made on industrial LED, and this is the most efficient luminary in our portfolio. So 180 lumens per watt net value, as some of you already know this product. So the new version, Industrial 6.0, was released a month ago, this month, yeah, something like that.
Month
ago, 180 lumens per watt. IP66 with 𝐼𝐥𝐥. This is of course for the standard version with PC housing, PC diffuser. If you have this kind of requirement, we can change the diffuser to PMMA, housing to GRP. This will provide you with better chemical resistance. If this kind of application requires it at a lower IK, so the IK03. The most important for this one is that the temperature range for the Pro version is -30 to +50 degrees of ambient. Standard is -20 to +40. So combining all of this, this is a very versatile product for this kind of applications, especially in the storage areas or productions where the temperatures do not exceed 50 degrees. And the very high efficacy will give you very good return on investment, very good savings. IP66 will provide this luminary to be fully robust against the dust, humidity, and the temperatures up to +50 degrees. So this was one product. The next one is 𝐻𝐈. This one is for applications where you need to mount your lamp higher than 6 or 8 meters. So that's the luminary which can go up to 28,000 lumens, 160 lumens per watt of efficacy, IP65, 𝐼𝐥𝐥, lower UGR. So this is very good with the option of the lenses. You can get UGR values of 24, 25 points with the 90-degree beam angle and 22, 23 points with 60 degrees beam angle. And you have wider operating temperature range up to +70 degrees in the Pro version, depending on the model. So if you have application that requires high heat robustness, or should I say that it will survive this scenario with high heat, this is a perfect solution. No, we don't have the 30-degree version of this kind of light. We simply don't have the lens for this one. This is the lens from Medil, and they offer it only in 60 and 90 degree. We also offer a flat glass version with 120-degree beam angle and no 30 degrees. Maybe in the next evaluation of 𝐻𝐈, where we are going to make our own lens, then we can see if we can make a 31, if it will be popular and required.
And the final product,
yes,
which is Ultima. We have already a separate presentation about Ultima in industrial. You can find it on our YouTube channel. But few words about it and why is it good, yes, also for the packaging industry.
That is our most versatile product. So 165 lumens per watt, IP65, 𝐼𝐥09, very low UGR values. So an example that I gave you before about the projects with UGR, where you use the average UGR for the 60 degrees between 20 to 22 points. In the project, it can go between 18 to 20 points of UGR if you do the installation and the calculation. 90-degree beam angle version has UGR values on the level of 23, 24, 25 points. In practice, it can be slightly lower than this. And again, very wide operating temperature range, very wide range of applications. So you have small lumen package ones like 8,000 lumens or 5,000 lumens up to 45,000 lumens of output. You can get the temperature range for the Pro version from up to +55 degrees, or HPT one up to +70 degrees in the ambient. And the construction itself prevents from the dust accumulation or the water vapor condensation, and the water will not sit on the luminary itself, so it will just slide off of it.
Thanks, Marcin, for helping us. Good idea. So basically, we are at the end of our presentation. If if you would like to comment on that, if you would like to give us a review for this webinar, or have some other additional questions, write in the comment section. We have we can answer one or two questions right now.
Yes.
There was some discussion between you about this putting the high bay on the racks against the wall, and how does it affect the measuring surface in your calculations, and what is the UGR of high bays?
So about UGRs for high bays, so let me just repeat what we said a moment ago. So the average values are between 25 and 26 points for 90-degree beam angle, and 22, 23 points for 60-degree beam angle for the high bay itself. So it's slightly higher than the Ultima, but it's still quite close to the requirements. And again, depending on the application, it can be lower. I'm talking about the average values from the UGR table, which you can access by opening the LDT file.
Okay, and the second question?
Yes, in regards to the picture and the racking against the wall, this probably will not move. Did you also place vertical measuring surface in your calculations? This kind of warehouses, you are talking probably about the picture from the Jarpak. So it depends on the customer's request. If he wants to know that kind of a parameter as the light intensity on the vertical surfaces, we can provide it. I don't know if for this project this was a particular requirement. I haven't done this project myself, but we can also do this to get the calculations as close to reality as possible.
And there is a question, which product would we recommend for mounting on the walls? I would recommend Ultima. We have a specific accessories for mounting Ultima on the walls.
Yes.
High bay has a round shape and is really a good replacement if you sometimes need to do one-on-one or really high heights of the facilities. This is better solution for high bay, and for Ultima we have a special accessory where you can mount it. Actually, above there is a high bay mounted
to the wall, but it can be mounted only at an angle. So
you can see only a slight part of it, but it's here. You can do it. You have a high line mounted on the sides, so all the products could be mounted on the walls. But actually, the Ultima and Highline are better. And this is nice question about checking the flickering from luminaires. What's the distance from the phone and the product?
Well, the best application we found was to be so that the image of the light source of the luminary should not fill more than 70% of the image in the screen, because then it will focus only on the processor that manages the exposure in the camera will focus only on this kind of light. So if you can say, let's say 30 to 50% of the light source in the view, that's the good. But a 30% current ripple driver will be seen even from afar away. So you can just sit in the office, fire up the camera, point it at the ceiling, and you will see lights flickering. Not to mention the flicker from the sequential drivers. These are sometimes can be even visible by people, depending on the person.
So usually 1 to 2 meters is fine. If it's really bad, then even from 5 meters you will see.
And another question is, are there specific lenses for high racks from 12 meters high on Ultima? We use the 60-degree lens. because it provides a very good balance of illumination between the horizontal and vertical planes. So for this one, we don't have the dedicated hierarch solution. It's just that one beam angle, which is universal enough in its shape. So the 60° is a very general description, but the shape itself of the light curve is important, and we managed to get the shape, the desired shape for us that is good for this kind of applications in the range of the mounting heights.
All right, thanks for your comments. Yes, we will upload it on the YouTube channel, so you can use it, you can send to your clients, partners, whoever. You are welcome to ask your partners or clients to join our next webinars. Remember, it's every 2 weeks on Thursdays at 11 a.m. So you can send out invitations. Lars actually even did his own event inviting his clients and partners. That was really nice. Please do it. Don't worry, we will support you. If you need any materials from us, anything translated into your language, specific one, we can help you out with some additional materials for you. And please send us, I cannot write the chat right now. Oh, I can. No, I can't. So please send us, because everybody was so active, please, for those who want, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Please do subscribe, and please follow our LinkedIn, LUXON-led, and so you will see updates on new webinars, new topics, new questions, new products, new case studies, all the materials you can use. What I also want to tell you is that within more or less 2 weeks, we will do a specific webinar for distributors, partners. It's invitation only. It will not be open. It will not be updated to YouTube. So in 2 weeks, we will do a closed webinar only for partners, invitation only, where we will cover topics such as how to manage sales in current situation, how to sell in current situation, how to win a big whale in a storm, meaning how to win a really big deal despite current situation of pandemic, droughts, and other terrific things that are going on with our world right now. Not terrific, horrific, sorry for that. So Marcin and Czarek and Lucas and Viola, our sales team, will update you on invitation-only webinar within 2 weeks. It will be planned on 5th of May. We will start. There will be 2 versions of that. And of course, every 2 weeks on Thursdays, we still follow on with webinars for specific topics, specific industries, and specific topics that you want and our sales team wants to cover. Thank you very much. Please write your names and your address to bureau@luxon.pl, BIURO at Marcin, if you can write bureau@luxon.pl, because I cannot join our chat, I don't know why. Please write your specific address and name so we can send you out some gadgets from Helvar, our partner of this event. It will be very nice if you send us your information privately. Yeah, you can send it to office, bureau, or Marcin directly. Thanks, Marcin, for your support. We are on time, 12.
Yes.
We made it. Thank you very much. Thanks for your attention. See you soon. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.